We had the return of Moment of Bliss, which I was not looking forward to at all, but it turned into a real entertaining segment, a lot better than I thought it would be. The Moment of Bliss should be just thrown away and kept in the garbage, especially now that Alexa Bliss is back in the ring and does not need to be hosting a talk show anymore now that she's been since cleared to compete. Her interviewee, the person, her guest, I think is the word I'm looking for here, her guest on this week's show was none other than EC3, the recent NXT upstart, who has said nothing since showing up on Raw and SmackDown, by the way. The guy has barely made an impact, no pun intended. He's just shown up in random backstage segments. Now, to me, it feels like Chris Jericho circa 2012. January, to be specific. When Jericho showed up and trolled everybody by not saying anything, that was the one ability that people wanted to hear him do. People love when Jericho speaks. And when they didn't give that to them, and they didn't have Jericho speak, they booed him. So I don't know if we're getting that with EC3. I'm not exactly sure. But what I do know is that the guy has not uttered a single word since he was called up about a month ago. So he was here on the show, said nothing before Nia Jax, Tamina, and Dean Ambrose all interrupted. They all crashed the segment. Nia Jax and Tamina furthered their feud of Dean Ambrose. So again, that might be leading somewhere. I really hope it doesn't. I don't know what we would get out of that, but that's a possibility. Dean Ambrose came out, made fun of EC3, and quite honestly, this was the most entertaining Dean Ambrose has been in a long-ass time. It really was. Like, even better than when he was a babyface a few years ago. He was that entertaining on Monday's Raw. He's like, oh, EC3, where's EC1 and EC2? Like, I thought that was a good line. It led to an impromptu match between Ambrose and EC3. Very uneventful. The match could have been a lot more with more time, but it was just kind of there. EC3 won, which was cool. But that was about it. There's really nothing worth writing home about this match whatsoever. I had seen some people say that maybe EC3 was injured. He hurt his arm. That could be a possibility. I haven't heard that from any reputable sources since Monday. But it was a good in-ring debut for EC3. I just thought it was... Ambrose losing is far from a surprise at this point, considering he's apparently on his way out of the company. But EC3 winning... again, they could be doing way more with him than they're doing currently. I think taking away his ability to speak is such a fucking waste. The guy is great. EC3 is a very good talent. So just to have him there not doing anything, I think is kind of questionable. I'm not to say the guy's the next world champion, but he can be a top talent if they promoted him properly. So the fact that he's just kind of there not saying anything, I'm glad he beat Ambrose, who, again, should be putting people over on his way out. That's a nice start and all, but it's hardly exciting to say the least. So hopefully this is leading somewhere. I want to believe that it is leading somewhere, with EC3 finally talking and cutting a pipe bomb promo. I probably shouldn't even use the word pipe bomb. It's been so overused since 2011, but cutting the scathing promo either on the current roster or a certain babyface or whatever, and it just leads to a great reaction. Unfortunately, I feel like it's more of a case of either it being a rib on EC3 or just they don't know what else to do with him and they think it's a cute little gimmick. Hopefully it's the former, but I'm not holding my breath.